Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? Probably amazing. I know you all are having a great day. So, with that being said, in a couple minutes here, we will get started and we'll be taking a look at a couple things. There is a couple interesting things to talk about today. So, we will definitely touch on that. So, first things first, what I find very interesting, and I'm probably going to do a whole video on this, so whether it's today, maybe tomorrow, not quite sure. Got to do some more research on it, but I'm going to be doing a video on the overnight lending market and the Federal Reserve, who's had to spend like almost $400 billion over the past 4 days to bail banks out overnight. Yeah, it's happening. If you can, there's already a really good video out there that pretty much breaks it down in simple terms. So for those of you watching right now, give me a second, and I'm going to get the link to this video that I want you guys to see. So give me about a minute here. Yeah, it's a really, really good video. Some of you may have already seen it. If you guys are in our private chat room, then you probably already know of it because we were talking about it for about 15 minutes this morning. Okay, here we are. So just pasted the link there in the YouTube chat so you guys can take a look at that. Good day, Shane. Also, I did get your message. I don't remember if it was on Instagram or if it was an email, but I did get your message. All right. So let's get started. All right. So again, you've already seen the video last night. I made a video on Roku, so just going to briefly touch on it. Ideally, I like Roku long, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, but I know that a lot of people with this really big down move might still be thinking sell, 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 which is probably pretty good idea, a pretty, good way of thinking. So a lot of people are probably thinking sell, sell, sell because these really big couple down days. For me, I'm thinking more long bias for just a short-term bounce. I don't anticipate that Roku's going to bounce and then reclaim its all-time high move, in the snap of a finger. That's not going to happen. But with Roku dropping $76, almost $80 a share, it's very likely we could see a $20, $30 bounce over the course of a week or 2 weeks, right? So definitely adamant about following it today to see if we finally start kind of picking up in terms of buyers and tomorrow. So Roku is going to most likely be on watch today without a doubt, and then throughout the next couple days. So if it doesn't bounce today or doesn't do what I want it to do today, then I'll be watching it tomorrow for it to make that move. If it doesn't happen tomorrow, then I'll be watching it the next day and the next day and the next day, as long as we're staying in this $100, 96, 106 area of support, then it's, for me, still makes sense to be watching long and not short bias. Because again, if you look at the chart, just in terms of price action and technical analysis, okay? If you look at this, I mean, it's at a significant level, right? We had the earnings report that blew out of the water, and then we have this just consolidation hold, gap fill. So it makes sense to kind of be having an eye for a potential long play with where it's currently at. Right now, pre-market, it doesn't look all the greatest, but again, we'll see, okay? Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Shopify. Yeah, I'll take a look at Shop Mr. B Custom. I actually did look at it this morning. I'm really not a huge fan of Shopify personally. But yeah, this is definitely on the weak side of things for now. We are into support. Yeah, I would be short bias on Shopify on a clean momentum push break below 312, maybe even arguably down to 280. But yeah, I mean, this is a perfect top. You can see it looks like a mountaintop, right? Very unison all the way down from going up to turning over. Looks very much so like a top. Now, something to pay attention to would be Now you can do one here. You can do a trend line out that way. And then you can also do one from here. That one holds that lag. So you'd have to do a new one, which comes down here. And that one's just sitting on currently. Yeah, I was going to say, you can kind of see. Hold on, let me go back to this 4-hour chart. Yeah, you can kind of see this trend from, this high point to this high point. It starts cutting through price action here. And if you zoom into the intraday, you can kind of see it's coming down, comes down, starts to bounce off support, and right around that trend line, pushes up, holds the trend line, starts to bounce. So you're starting to see some interaction on kind of the trend line right now. But ultimately, I would be short bias below the kind of 312 area. Could go much, much further into it, but for now, I'd be more of a short trader below that level, long bias above 312. Mr. People Investor, no, silver probably, unless something magical happens, silver won't break into new highs. If anything, it would retest its previous high, then it would fail, and then it would pull back again. And then at that point, it would attempt maybe breaking out. But silver, gold shouldn't break out within the next week probably. If anything, we'll probably get a retest of their previous highs and then a pullback. That's the only thing I see in the silver and gold for right now. And then again, unless something magical happened, like a unicorn came trotting across the silver market, I don't think we would see a new break into new highs just yet. Okay, cool. So anyways, back onto the market now. So last thing I want to kind of touch on is SPY, right? So I'll have another one of these videos here in like 7 days. I'll do, by the end of the month, I'll do like a new updated version of where we're at in the market. But currently you can see we're still fighting the 52-week high resistance. We cannot successfully break over it. So as for now, we already know the markets can't move higher just yet. We're creating higher lows into that, which is good, right? It's good to continuously create higher lows. That's a good thing. It can be a really, really bad thing to continuously make higher lows without actually going any higher. That's a problem. So you can see the market's been creating higher lows, but stagnant tops. When eventually it gets to an ending point where you can't get higher and you keep making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and to the point where you get into a flat top or a wedge and can't break, you go slam to the downside. That's what we really hope doesn't happen for the sakes of all of our 401ks, investments, jobs. We hope that doesn't happen. But we know it's going to happen sooner or later. It's inevitable. So really what we need the market to do is bust into new highs. Personally, what I think is even if the market does bust into all-time highs, it's going to be a relatively short-lived move, as in we'll have a nice breakout, and then it's just going to be selling on top of selling on top of selling. I mean, that's what I would do, right? If I were a logical investor and the market had been struggling to get over the 52-week high for 2 years about, and then we finally break out, and then we start running, I would start selling into that move. That's what I would do. Kind of like when you see a penny stock break out midday out of a bullish pennant, squeezes all the way up, and then shortly after, it comes crashing back down. Because the move out of the bullish pennant is partly due to a short squeeze, meaning short sellers who were bearish got squeezed out, up and out, and they're the ones creating the move, and you're just riding the momentum off the back of the shorts. Once the shorts are out, there's no real buying pressure. So that's what I fear would actually happen is if the market does kind of do its move into the 52-week high, we're actually just kind of looking at a momentous short squeeze into all-time highs, and then the selling's really going to kick in heavy. So yeah, I have done trading journals, tracked trades before. And at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, it tells you a lot of information. When you're just starting out, it's definitely a great idea. I mean, every once in a while, I'll kind of write down on a piece of paper, during the trading day, like, oh, I made this trade in here, out here, this trade, just so I can kind of see and look over what I did. But for the most part, I at this point, I don't really do a journal of the trades anymore. But it is definitely something that is very useful for a lot of people, especially if you're just starting your career in trading, which, again, is going to be a long uphill battle, may I tell you. Thoughts on Netflix? On Netflix, I would just be short bias for right now. There's really no reason for me to be long bias on Netflix. I mean, maybe you'll have some intraday long bounces and squeezes and wedge breaks and channel ups, but other than that, there's really no reason for me to be long bias on Netflix. If I want to be long bias on Netflix, it's going to be down when Netflix gets to about $240, which was its most previous bounce, which is a very predictable bounce level. So $240 on Netflix is where I'd be more long bias on the stock. Daily working capital is about 100,000, but that's also with leverage. I usually keep my account in terms of my own money around not really 25,000, but in the $25,000 to $30,000 range. Depends on if I win or take a loss in a trade. Then of course I'll be down towards 25. But generally I'm usually in like the $30,000 area for my own capital. If I choose to use leverage on something, then I can, and I'll pay a small fee to do that. But I can usually trade with about $90,000 to $100,000 on any given day. Mike, we went over Shopify. Ideally, Shopify would be a short bias trader below. If you've already been shorting it, great. What's going to happen is you're in a scenario where it's coming down to a support level around 312. If it can hold over 312, you might get a little bounce. Shopify's already been on a major bull run. Below 312, I think the downward momentum continues in the shorter term. OSTK has gotten annihilated from about $20. It's probably sitting at about $12.50 to $13 pre-market today. There's no support on OSTK until you get down to about $9.62 per share, or basically $10, and between $9.50 to $10. There's really no sort of support, so I really want to be a long bias trader on OSTK until it gets down to about $9.50 to $10 in the given scenario, which it's currently in. And even then, it's arguable. FedEx. Let's take a look at FedEx. Excuse me. So FedEx barely touched into a 52-week low. Mr. Brooks, you're right. It barely touched into a 52-week low. I would be a long bias trader on it, at least for a short-term bounce. Wouldn't be short bias right now. There's just too many interaction points, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's on a bullish divergence right now, right? You have this move down, RSI is here. Bounce up, move into new low on higher momentum. That can't sustain itself, at least in the short term. You can already see it kind of bouncing right now. So for now, I would be more long bias than I would be short bias as of right now. It did just come off of earnings, though. So let's see. Kind of bounce down. Yeah, I don't see today being a big down day. Unless the market gets smoked, then I could see FedEx moving lower. But for today, I'd probably be more like, I'd probably just be neutral on it for now. Yeah, I just don't see FedEx really slamming through today on this level. Partially because you can see we bounced all the way back down. Usually you get like a little bit of a bounce before you'd start coming down on that type of scenario or situation. Valentine. I was always pretty sure that they were allowed to, again, I guess I could be wrong. It's been a while since I really looked that stuff up, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Europeans can trade stocks. I mean, there's plenty of stocks you can buy and invest in. Maybe that's it. Maybe you can invest in different companies and stocks, but you can't necessarily trade them. But I wouldn't be able to tell you why it would be that way. No. I mean, I can tell you the difference between stocks and difference between CFDs, but I don't know exactly why in Europe or any sort of European market or foreign market outside of the United States would not allow people to trade stocks. That I don't know for sure. There is maybe I'll get to it today. I've been trying to make the video for like the past week, but I'm always trading it. Then I get caught doing something. But there is a high a day scanner that we do have that I've been trying to make a video on to put it out. And it's good. It's not the best. It's not like trade ideas, but it's sufficient enough to help you find some stocks. Not necessarily that are going to be great winners or that you're even going to like, but it is a high of day scanner. And so I'll put it out there. I know I'm going to get a little bit of lashback on it because people are going to say it's not good enough. And it's like, well, yeah, go F yourself and you build one too. Bet you can't. That's right. So I'll put it out. I mean, I think it's basically as good as it's going to get. And if you want anything better that, of course, is faster and more efficient, then you're going to have to pay for a paid service. And a lot of people get a little cranky about the paid services and like, I don't want to pay for that. Well, again, you do get what you pay for in this world. And you have to understand that real-time data that fast is expensive. It is the companies that get this data, like Trade Ideas or maybe equity feeds, right? To get that real-time data from the market in seconds, it's expensive to have that, and it costs money. Hence, why you have to pay, right? So, here's what it is. Jay Carter, I mean, yeah, I could look into it and figure it out. I myself, people have asked me to trade their money and I don't. I just personally don't like the feeling of having other people's money and trading with their money. For one, because it's like, well, I could just make my own money trading. But two, there's no worse feeling than losing somebody else's money, right? Like, I'm cool with losing my own money, but to lose somebody else's money just sucks. And it's just so, that's why I wouldn't do it. And more oftentimes than not, no, I'm not going to go that route. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure in regards to your questions, you can literally set somebody else up under your account. Like you could have your account attached to another person's account. So when you go on your account, you can be the host or like the admin of all accounts, and then you can trade all of their accounts. William, I don't really particularly listen to upgrades by analysts all that often, because analysts are wrong all the time. Half the time when they give a price target, it's already at the price target, so it doesn't really make sense there. Pretty much anything that has to do with price targets almost generally never make any sense. Right? So, like for example, Tilray was at like 300, right? Analysts were giving it like price targets of the most random stuff, and I gave it a price target of $30. Everyone thought I was crazy, and then it went to $30, right? So again, price targets that I don't really pay attention to too much. Yeah, that's what I figured, Adrian. Yeah. Siddharth. Online trading. Well, so again, there's a lot of lashback in the trading world for online trading communities or courses. Some people love them, some people hate them. Then again, it may not be for everyone. Some people are better off self-taught. But again, it's literally the same thing as going to school. Some people find that it makes sense to go spend $35,000 at some university to learn something, whatever that may be. And then other people find it hard to spend a couple $100s to learn another career. So again, it really doesn't make any sense if you think about it. The education that you get for doing any sort of online course, right? You're paying hundreds of % less than what you would if you went to college for it. So again, it's kind of like that. I mean, most people go to school, most people go to get self-educated through school, and they'll pay X amount of dollars, and then you see a course online, and you're like, eh. So again, it's really just apples to apples. But yeah, online courses can help some. I'm not here to talk about Ricky Gutierrez's business himself. I mean, again, I would probably tell you to talk to other customers or other traders that have been involved in his business or in his company. If it is a company, I don't know if it is, and to see how they've liked it personally. I've heard from other people, and again, some people love it, some people maybe not so much, but again, I would probably just go to his chat room. I think you could go to his Facebook group, you can go to one of his chat rooms, you can find a link to his chat room, and then that way you can get involved, talk to some of the traders in his community, see if it would fit for you. Do I still scalp trade? Yep, I scalp trade, swing trade, long-term invest. What about Fit up 6%? I never trade Fitbit 6% up. I would say that's probably going to go down in the day. I don't really know. I'm not even going to look at it, but Fitbit is one of those stocks that I just never trade. It moves too slow. It's boring. Abbas, yeah, it's banned over. You don't trade CFDs here. You just don't. We have one workaround in America to trade CFDs, and but anyways, yeah, you don't trade CFDs here. For day trading, what is the best time frame? There is no best time frame because all time frames are the same. They're literally the same. 1 minute is the same as a 5-minute chart. Your candle just is going to close after 5 minutes. Rather than seeing 5 candles, you'll see 1 candle. So literally, there's only 24 hours in a day. So whether you look at this time frame or this time frame or this time frame or this time frame, it's all the same time frame. In reality, it just looks a little different. So whatever you like to look at or however you find yourself being better with one time frame or another would be the time frame for you. But there's no specific best time frame. I usually look at 1 minute charts intraday, but I also just started using 1 minute charts, so I just became accustomed to using 1 minute charts. Hence, 1 minute charts work good for me, whereas others not so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, I went to a new place to get a haircut this time, and that's that. Yeah, I'll take a look at the Indian market maybe over this week. Maybe I should just write that down right now. Actually, you know what? That's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to take this notepad that I have here that's always on this desk that I hardly use that much, and I'm going to start writing things down that you guys are asking about because I always find myself forgetting what you guys ask, and then I never end up doing it. So let's we'll do that when I get a pen. There's a pen. Nope, there's not a pen. Pump fake. Anyways, I'll grab a pen. So Indian market. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, but then again, that's because I'm not other traders and I'm not some schmuck. Okay, I was from the Midwest, born in Kentucky. I'm a nice guy. I don't mind. It really is zero hurt to me. The world is very big. There's a lot of people in the world, right? And I cannot help and cater every single person or trader and teach everything the way that somebody may want it to be taught. And there's many other avenues out there, and just is it's the way it is. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is like I could take the amount of information I know about trading is, I would say, pretty vast and pretty large into comparison for others. So it's like, I could take you guys down. I mean, for at least a newer trader, I mean, I could take you down a rabbit hole like that. I could lose you like that if I wanted to. If I wanted to shake you, I could shake you in a second in trading. I could lose you real fast. If I wanted to teach you the slow way, I could teach you the slow way. So, and that's just something else too, is right when you're picking someone to trade, I don't only focus on trading, right? A lot of what we do here on YouTube and all is trading, which I'm actually starting to change it up a little bit more. I mean, I've been wanting to do it for a while, just didn't know how I was going to transition and how people would feel about it. But, there's other things like investing and dividends and 401ks and Roth IRAs and building credit. I mean, those are all. So that's the thing is I use trading as a means of income, right? And I love doing it, right? So that's why this is like, in a sense, it's a hobby and I have a company out of it. But at the end of the day, like my whole thing that I like to do, everything that is I do is really surrounded or is built on the idea of financial security, wealth building, streams of income. Like, that is really what I'm about. But really on the forefront, all you guys just see is trading, because I've really never done many videos on 401ks and investing and difference between a SEP and tax benefits of doing this, or real estate, which, by the way, I very much intend to get into. But again, I wouldn't be an expert at it, but it would just kind of show some things that I'm doing, right? But to me, it's all about building wealth and making smart financial decisions, and that's the game plan for me. So that's not about what a lot of you guys see, but when you're in our private group, we'll have discussions many times on things just like that. Yeah, I don't think I could shake Be Custom. One second, just going to read a couple comments here and then I got to run. It is an Acer Predator laptop. Christian, if you only have $500 to start with, you should honestly open up a Roth IRA, put the money into a long-term investment account, and make more money. Earn more money before trading. But again, that's the truthful, honest opinion. If you want, you can totally click one of those ads that says get started for $500, because, again, you could. But again, the more responsible, mature, and appropriate approach for you is to not trade with your only $500, but it would be to open up a Roth IRA, invest your $500, and invest more money, and then start putting away kind of a side pot for your trading. Yes. But I don't trade in a Roth IRA personally. Why do so many people think Forex is a scam? I mean, that's just a personal opinion from people to people. I mean, I think Social Security is a scam, but everyone thinks I'm crazy, when in reality, it's literally a big Ponzi scheme, right? So it's like, again, personal opinion, but really not personal opinion. Fact, it literally is a scam. But again, people are too concerned about gun control over like 70 deaths this year. Like 70 deaths, and you're thinking about confiscating like 140 million Americans' guns, but you're not as concerned with the fact that the government spent your retirement money and that they now make you pay income tax on the retirement money that they've already taxed you on for 40 years that you had to pay into when they weren't supposed to do. Sorry, but we shouldn't talk about that. No. Why would we talk about Jeffrey Epstein, the man who magically committed suicide in a federal prison because he had names of higher up? I mean, we shouldn't talk about that. So how are them Tigers? How are those sports? That's what I thought. Any hooser. Got to get back to our private team. With that being said, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for another stream. Again, woke.